Diary. Today I'm trying American favorite sandwich, PB&J. Okay, so I just came from store and I got nature on bread. The wheat bread is more healthy for you, and I have Jip peanut butter and I got the Kai brand jelly. So let's make a sandwich. I've never had this kind of sandwich before in my country, but I think it cool. It had its own song, and I'm finally can sing it and know what I'm happy for, because they say peanut butter gel time, peanut butter gel time, peanut butter and baseball bat. So come on, jelly, come out. I think that's good. So peanut butter gel time. It smells good. I don't want white bread because I want to be healthy, but I heard it might not taste good because it's wheat bread. But
Well, hello there, partner. Go on and hang up your hat, grab yourself a whiskey, and pull up in the easy chair. We're coming off the range of 9 to 5s with a whole herd of news stories that we've been steaming over like a cow patty in the Texas heat. As they say, the chickens are finally coming home to roost. And we're here to ruffle some feathers and ensure accountability ain't just a concept, it's reality. It's that time where the day's drama casts its longest shadow. So let's light a candle to the chaos of current events, the whirlwind of politics, and the tangled webs of corruption that we find ourselves entwined by. It's time to ramble our way into the twilight. Welcome to Sunset Rants.
Hello, my friend. How are you? Happy 2026, dude.
I've lived long enough.
Can't hear you.
I've
But
lived.
while I get that resolved, everybody, welcome back to Sunset Rants. Fantastic to see you guys. Well, I can see you, but right
Am I here?
This is
Am I here?
Right in my
Is it working now?
It's been a while since been on the show. And here we are, starting brand new. Literally just heard Scrap Talk like 2 seconds ago. Like, if it wasn't an opportunity for this to happen, this would be the best opportunity for it to happen. But hopefully everyone's had a great one. I'm not gonna lie, I definitely teared up watching that video. The producer, when he put it on, he's like, "You gotta watch this." He only heard the lady track, "Oh, peanut butter." I'm like, okay, preview it. So then she starts doing it, and I was just like, okay, where is this going? He's like, and I was like, no. It has to be the funniest thing I've seen in a long time.
Well, I guess I'll hold down the stage till Scrap comes back. Oh, hey.
You're on mute too.
Okay, my audio working now?
Is everyone on mute but me?
Now I don't hear you guys.
I think so.
Scrap, can you hear me?
Brian, I think it's because you have two videos open. Yeah. While we get Liz fixed. Brian, I think you're just on me because you have two audios open. Not coming from this end. Coming from the other end.
Possibly.
But we do have some.
Oh, what the hell? StreamYard? Oh.
I can hear him on this.
What about now?
Talk to me, proof. No. I can hear on this. I can hear on my phone.
I'm muting Discord.
Major tone to ground control.
Hello? Hey?
Major tone to ground control. System is to you. No, can't hear.
Scrap, come back in. I think the problem might be Tay. I could hear Scrap in StreamYard.
It would be good if everyone just jumped in.
Oh, shit. Hold on. This is why we do sound checks. Hey, guys. We've got some technical difficulties on the stream tonight. I thought we had worked it out beforehand, but apparently Skrappjaw and Tay, for some reason, they're not hearing each other. So let me see. Scrap, try to come back in. Okay, Tay's coming back in. Tay, do you hear me now?
You're still on mute.
No, I'm not on mute. All right. Scrap, can you hear me? I see sound going out. Can you speak? Scrap, say something. I want to know if I can hear you. Shit.
There.
Hello?
Let's figure it out. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, if Tay comes back in, we got a show to do. So, shit. Here's the first fucking story.
Everybody's got problems. See, this is what happens when you put man-made horrors before our eyes before the show ever begins, okay? I had things to say about that abomination of a sandwich, and then all hell broke loose across the technology here tonight. That's just how it's going to be.
Oh, so you're going to blame me. You're going to say I cursed it.
You're the producer.
That's fair. I guess it's my fault. I got to take the blame.
Oh, jeez.
All right.
My outline. Go ahead.
All right. So I wanted to pull this story up last night because, over the holiday, over the break, there was just a flood of shit that came out that we couldn't talk about at the time. Well, now we're going to talk about it. And one of the things that happened that I kind of wanted to cover last night, but Secretary Hegseth has moved to, well, he's not doing what I would have preferred he did, which would have been recall him to active duty and put him on court-martial. Instead, he's going the soft way. What the War Department is going to do with Senator Kelly is they're going to reduce his retirement pay. And Secretary Hegseth took the first step today by censuring him. That's going to trigger a board, and that board will determine whether Senator Kelly remains a retired captain, or he was a naval officer, or he ends up getting ensign retirement pay, which ain't much. Anyway, getting into the story, I just gave you the basic rundown. So from CNBC, the Pentagon will cut military retirement pay of Senator Mark Kelly for what Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, that's Secretary of War, CNBC, called the Arizona Democrats' seditious statement on a video with other members of Congress telling service members that they have the right to refuse to execute illegal orders. But he was very nebulous on what illegal orders were. He didn't give the detail on that. And that's what's got him in trouble. Hexeth also issued a formal letter to Hexeth also issued a formal letter of censure against Kelly, which the defense secretary calls details reckless misconduct by the retired Navy captain and astronaut. We're going to throw that and astronaut in there for extra credibility. Excuse me. Hexeth said the Defense Department has begun a proceeding aimed at reducing Kelly's rank in retirement, which would lead to turn to a decrease in retirement pay. 6 weeks ago, Senator Mark Kelly, popular members of Congress, released, thank God you're back. You're getting back up on stage, Tay. Okay. I'm going to do this story, and then I am leaving and going back to the booth. 6 weeks later, Senator Mark Kelly and 5 other members of Congress released a reckless and seditious video that was clearly intended to undermine good order and discipline. Hexeth said in a statement on X, as a retired Navy captain still receiving military pension, Captain Kelly knows he is still accountable to military justice, and the Department of War and the American people expect justice. I am going to go ahead and drop the content right quick. Scrap, Tay, discuss.
No, it's good Brian gets to open this can of worms for us, because, having the service members' perspective on these kinds of procedures gives us some kind of ground for which to, it's really, I wish it was more too, because the left would have, they wouldn't have hesitated. There is no hesitation on the left side of politics. And this is just another one of those moments where, and who knows, maybe they just didn't want to open a can of worms of calling a sitting senator to active duty to court-martial him. Now, had they done that, does that, Brian, still raise to the level of maybe this guy does he do time in the military pokey in a court martial? Is that potential? Or could it just be you know what, you're active duty now, we're slapping you on the wrist, demoting you to private, blah, 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 or whatever?
I think the secretary made a smart move here, even though it's going to leave many people, who, including myself, who want blood, who want their pound of flesh. But by taking the administrative route, well, first of all, he would have had to get a conviction at a court martial. I don't know. Good luck putting together that court martial board. Good luck. Because the court martial board in the military is just like a jury in the civilian world. Only the court martial board probably has higher IQ than your average civilian jury. Just saying. But I think a conviction in anything other than reduction in retirement pay is probably in the too hard to do ball. So I think the secretary is doing as much as he can to get some semblance of justice for this.
That's fair. I think that's fair. I mean, when considering what we've known about we really don't know the full state of the military as far as all the administrative things. A lot of you guys in our Discord talk about your experience and whatnot, and what's happened with the neutering of military and then the administrative garbage that goes on. Considering those conversations I've heard with you guys that are across all 3 branches of service, that tracks. That tracks, I think. Tay, anything?
Well, I kind of missed all the stuff, right? I already know what's going on. I really don't have anything much to say other than what you guys, what you were saying. It's fuck him. You know what he was doing. I don't expect, anything more than what's already happening to him. But he knew what he was doing on it. Especially.
He thought he was being cute along with everybody else that was involved in that, because they were being very non-specific. They were just saying, you don't have to follow illegal orders. But, the suggestion
was going towards the strikes to these sporting fishing. these very elegant sporting fishermen with, $100,000, 4,000 horsepower, Continental, just boom, just so fast for fishing. They don't even stop for the fish. The fish just follow them. So no, that's where the nuance of that video is from. And then when he was asked, I forgot who was interviewing him, and this was relatively recent. I think I was watching the clip on Tim's show or something. I forget where it was, but they were asking, it's like, well, is it even illegal for you to say this? Because it's just because you say it, it's not, but it is. But the idea is implying that it is illegal. And he's like, oh, well, they have all these things behind it, so they say it's legal, and there's all this back end stuff. That's why they have the lawyers for it. But he's like, I really don't know. So the implement, it's like, you are a man. Yeah, I don't want to. I'm gonna use this word loosely. A man of integrity when it comes into military standing. You're not a stupid person. You have some kind of common sense on your head of what is and what can happen to you. But no, this is what happens when you're playing with the fire. Like, to see a kid keep playing with the fire. Don't touch the stove. It's hot. Don't touch the stove. It's hot. This is what happened. And there has to be an example made, and this is what it is. And you fucked up and fucked around and found out.
Yeah, I find it a bit of projection in some of his comments about the reduction in pay and all of that, because he's claiming it's politically motivated, and I'm like, really? You're gonna play that card? You knew what you were doing. Everybody in your party was doing this. And you're going to be like, oh, this is politically motivated. It violates the speech and debate clause. You were an active service person, and you know exactly what's going on. You just got caught up in the politics of your party and decided you're going to be cute about it.
Like, Shut up. Shut up. If your friends jump off a bridge, you're going to do it too? Well,
right. Well, I mean, Democrats, I wouldn't doubt. Let's all go jump off this bridge and protest Trump. If Trump said jumping off a bridge was bad for your health, they would all go prove him wrong or right.
No, they would. They did with the people that, wasn't there 2 women who died with overdose of Tylenol?
The Tylenol thing was hateful. I was like, really? You're going to let your political derangement affect your better judgment?
Yeah, and it's just stupid, selfish, and it's the meme. It's that meme where the guy's riding a bike and he sticks something and he blames someone else for it. Sticks it in the front spokes.
But it was great. All of our technical problems aside, Brian being here to present something that's military related and knows the ins and outs of it. Thank you, Brian. We needed that this evening. We needed to have that anchored in something with some direct background. What is going on in the Chizat?
Here. Hello, everybody. I miss you guys.
Tay and Scrap tonight. Lived long enough to see man-made horror. I'm sorry, everyone that had to see that. I just had to send it to my wife. I was so horrified.
What happened?
The opening video.
Oh,
the most cursed peanut butter and jelly sandwich ever to be concocted.
You know what I loved about it? It's because she was so genuinely innocent. She was just like a little kid with a bag of candy on Halloween. She's like, and she's like, yes. And then it's hard to assume that she's never seen a bottle of lube.
Oh.
But it says that. So, but then she's like,
the face said everything. I feel so bad for her. Like, this is the most this like so excited to enjoy an American staple of society, of our culinary endeavors. One of the most basic things that you could ever grow up eating as a child. I even still do to this day is
we're talking about peanut butter and jelly.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Oh yeah.
If there's one thing that I did not see coming was that she was going to go through with that. And I was like, the whole time, I wish we could have been put on screen while I was holding my face in horror, knowing that this woman was probably going to go through with it.
I think she figured out what jelly it was.
I think eventually she probably did later, and but her immediate thought is probably Americans are the most vile people ever. She went from being like basically a patriot to I'm going back to Mao.
It's true, they are way too sexual.
Like that face was just the face of dejection and rejection and betrayal and everything all at one time. I feel so bad for her. I hope somebody reached out and made things right for her.
It was funny because she was chewing it, and it's like how PBG goes, like you have to get through the bread, and you have to get through the peanut butter, and then you get the jelly, and you kind of have to just get it all like.
She didn't get that far. It was like two chomps and a instant like.
Once the petroleum touched her, or the lube.
Okay, on that phrasing, let's get on to the next segment. Oh man, Trump is cutting off $10 billion in funding to 5 blue states for child care, social services over fraud fears.
Fraud fears. Dun dun dun. And the plot.
Talk about ungreasing the rails.
Yeah, literally.
All right, the administration is cutting off funding for more than $10 billion in social services, childcare funding meant for a handful of Democrat-led states over concerns that the benefits were fraudulently funneled into non-citizens' bank accounts. Officials told Post Monday. Department of Health and Human Services will freeze taxpayer funding for Child Care Development Fund (CCDF) and Temporary Assistance for Needy Families (TANF) program and Social Services Block Grant Program. At least $7.35 billion in TANF money will be prevented from going to California, Colorado, Illinois, Minnesota, and New York.
Shit.
CCDF funding blocks nearly $2.4 billion. Block of $2.4 billion affects all of those states. Wow. And another almost another $900 million almost from social services block grant coffers being kept from all 5 as well. The pauses were announced via letters from HHS Administration for Children and Families, ACF, to each state sent Tuesday, citing concerns that benefits were fraudulently going to illegal aliens. I'm surprised Ohio isn't on this, but we have the second largest Somali population in the country. And
did not know that.
Yeah, next to Michigan. Let me read that statement again. Which of these states are they again? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Michigan's not even on there.
California, Colorado, Illinois, Minnesota.
Michigan, Ohio aren't even on there. I'm not saying I need to cut I want to cut the whole thing off, but like maybe there's a reason why they're not on there. But I know Governor DeWine just sent out a message to the public saying, "Look, you guys, if you find fraud in child care and all that, report it." Cool. But that's as we call him here, DeWiney baby.
Yeah.
He kind of does things half baked at the end after it's already a thing. He's a lame duck. He's going out this year, and hopefully we'll get Vivek in there. There's some rumors on the street about that. I'm going to keep tabs on about Vivek and DeWine.
Deleted social media.
I don't know, but DeWine. There's some speculation about DeWine possibly giving Vivek an endorsement on certain contingencies, but I'm going to hold out what those are because I think Trump is leaning on the Republicans that are incumbent right now and saying, look, you need to just endorse ours down the ballot. I think Trump is too busy with things like, taking care of the widespread things, the big ticket issues, to be like in the weeds of politics. And he's probably going in there and saying, look, you guys just, we'll get into some more of that probably in some of the Roman Nation podcast stuff, which we're coming back Friday. Black Friday.
I'm
9
gonna see the park on Friday.
Cool. But yeah, this bring up the chat again. Brian, I'm sorry. You brought them up and I was on a tear. Let's see the chat. What are they talking about? If anybody's talking about anything. If there's any of this stuff going on anywhere else.
I'm surprised that they're doing New York though.
Oh, I'm not surprised about New York. They've been holding up
here's the
illegals
thing,
all over the place.
You know, like the whole thing with like, you know, like whatever his face is, Stan Mayor. I think there's that, but like a lot of the people that it's too dense of a population to be taking advantage of that.
Yeah. No, it doesn't look like there's too much having chat. Chat is quiet tonight. I see Brian's got Concord grape jelly. I bet that lady really feels like she got graped in the mouth.
Oh,
Graped.
He said it. He went there. He went there.
My taste buds were violated on her behalf. It was a vicarious violation of my taste buds for sure. My culinary sensibilities.
I feel bad for her.
Don't worry, a federal judge will have it overturned by Friday. I'm pretty sure somebody one of these federal judges is gonna file something.
There's gonna be a Lord judge.
Say something about it. Oh yeah, Rebel with no yell. We are back. I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen Funkmaster General. He usually hangs out on the big shows on our weekly shows, but I'm not sure how much he spends time here. But anywho, yeah. Let's see what's Minnesota. Let's see what else is in this article here about it. If there's anything else that's kind of new and juicy. Tim Walz, California Governor Newsom, Pritzker, and Jared Polis and the New York Governor Hochul were asked to hand over comprehensive lists of funding recipients between 2019 and 2025. Oh, so they're not just like cutting it off. They're like, dude, we want to see the receipts. That's great. Oh, Funkmaster that gifted 10 memberships last night. That's legit.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's legit. And then many also request that the information be handed over by January 20th. This is going to become one of those things because all these January 20th is kind of like when the new sessions of Congress and other appointed peoples and different things. There's a lot of that, like there's some administrative stuff going on. There's going to be some games played here.
You know what's funny is everyone is always complaining like how like health insurance is just too expensive. And then really this entire thing that's coming up that Nick Shirley discovered just through like the Somalians up there, if it's spread out so far and so dense nationally, that once this gets cleared, watch it turn out that our country does so much GDP that we can actually afford like healthcare.
Imagine we could afford to pay our debts.
It's not get fucking crazy here. Hold up, slow your roll.
Imagine
slow your roll.
Imagine we could afford to let farmers farm their land and
not
subsidize them to not and imagine that we could actually like keep China from buying all the land from out from underneath of us. We're the only country in the world that lets other people do that. Imagine we had all that money is being frauded. We're being defrauded as the taxpayer could go into doing things like funding infrastructure that's falling apart. Imagine that, or paying the medical bills of our veterans and those benefits, and honoring the agreements we have with the boomers that are taking on that need Social Security. It's like we made that agreement as a country at some point. Imagine we could just pay that. I'm not.
Can't imagine.
Can't imagine we might actually fulfill our obligations instead of just flush it down the toilet. Anywho, so this is nice. These are the things I voted for. When we have an administration that's actually says, look, we're gonna look at all the waste, fraud, and abuse. I think early on with Doge, there was a lot of stuff we wanted to see, but it's probably more like the 2020 election fraud and the scandals around that. And YouTube can get a little funky about it, so we'll just put it this way:
the
allegedly, and I'm not even going to say that it was widespread as far as like a couple of people, like,
They found out
you
that
know,
Georgia was pretty much true.
it was some massive conspiracy. It literally takes like just enough people in enough places to overturn enough key areas that just want the election to go a certain way to wink and nod. You get some kind of, what do they call it, a standalone complex where the zeitgeist amongst a certain political class is like, we're just going to do this. That's all it takes. It was like death by 1,000 paper cuts across the country. Judges were like, it's not enough to overturn an entire election. But if you get enough places, enough fraud in enough places that overturn enough little things, it all piles up, right? So this kind of thing right here. So like Doge, there was a whole bunch of stuff they found right off the rip. But guess what? When you have, states where we just send them money, okay, you qualify because you checked a bunch of boxes for the last 10, 20, 30 years for all of these benefits for people. And okay, you've created all of this infrastructure of a welfare state, and it goes unchecked. Like, this is where we are. And now it's like, okay, now that Trump has had some time in the office and it's been a year, now we're starting to see some of these things pop up that are here, there, and everywhere. There's probably more government, projects and funding programs that are 4 and 5 letters than we have 4 and 5 letter agencies. We just have to find them and figure out where they're at. It takes journalists. Sometimes it does take journalists, even though Kash Patel comes out. I think Kash has one of the worst means of doing public, doing PR.
Why?
Because whenever something is found and then it's like retrospectively, he's like, oh yeah, it's on our radar. He's just perpetuating the meme of like, we're investigating this and more. It's like, I get it. You want to post your wins when you put people away, but like the way you go about, they go about a lot of their stuff is cookie cutter.
It's too lackadaisical about it.
I don't know about lax.
Say lackadaisical. It's like too nonchalant. He's just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, his lines are very cookie cutter. So when he comes out, it's not. I don't necessarily think Kash is doing a bad job. I just don't think he's communicating it very well.
Well, in many ways, present it's like a show, if you would, and I'm not even saying that just because it's the president. But everything's been like, it's kind of evolved into a very theatrical thing, and he's just very like, meh.
Yeah, there's all in this article goes on to talk about how many. It talks about Minnesota, 130,000 illegal immigrants residing in Minnesota as of 23, and around 40,000 from 2019, and 2% of the state's population. 2% of the state's population is illegal immigrants to some degree.
That's wild.
I mean, that's not nothing.
That's a lot of fucking people.
That's a lot. I mean, wow. So yeah, this is some crazy stuff. Let's see here. Bongino should have been given the top job at the FBI. I mean, there's a lot of people that should have been given jobs in the Trump admin, but they got shafted. All right. So
next one?
Yeah, this one's going to have to be one we check in on this one. So international news. This one, Tay.
All right, I'll get it. Francis Macron says a security statement endorsed by Ukraine's allies is a significant step. French President Emmanuel Macron says a security statement endorsed by Ukraine's allies, including the U.S., is a significant step toward ending Russia's invasion of its neighbor as part of a peace settlement. Following a meeting of more than 24 countries in Paris, Macron said officials. There's more. All right, scroll down. It's confined on my phone a little different. French President Emmanuel Macron said Tuesday that a security statement endorsed by Ukraine's allies, including the U.S., is a significant step toward ending Russia's invasion of a neighbor as part of a peace settlement. Following a meeting of more than 24 countries in Paris, Macron said officials agreed on a ceasefire monitoring mechanisms under U.S. leadership. always under us. They're just fucking awesome. This is a breaking news update. AP's earlier story follows below. Paris AP. Ukraine's allies meet Tuesday in Paris for key talks that could help determine the country's security after a potential peace deal is used with Russia. For prospects for progress are uncertain. The Trump administration's focus is shifting to Venezuela, while U.S. suggestions of a Greenland takeover, I like how they use that word takeover, are causing tension with Europe. Moscow shows no signs of budging from its demand in the nearly 4-year-old invasion. Isn't it like 2.5 or something? Something like that. Before the U.S. capture of Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro, French President Emmanuel Macron had expressed optimism about the latest gathering of what had been dubbed the coalition of the willing. They had been exploring for months how to deter any future aggression should it agree to stop fighting Ukraine. Did they just forget the other part of it?
Hold up a second. This is very interesting. They inserted Maduro into this conversation.
Where's this coming?
We just captured Maduro, who was in bed with the Russians and the Chinese.
Third on the second, and this is from December 31st.
No, not the article.
No,
that conversation that is being referenced is from December.
Yeah.
So you have a narco-terrorist dictator sitting in peace talks or accords with other European nations, who is about trying to solve a problem with Russia and Ukraine, while that narco-terrorist dictator is in bed with Russia and China at the same time. I mean, I guess if you wanted to have a conversation with the guy, like, hey, you know the guy a little bit better than we do. What do you think about how should we go about this? Maybe like that. But at the same time, when you're basically isn't it a conflict of interest when all of your defenses are like hardware from Russia and you're selling oil to China at the same time? And so, like, it's just interesting. I just wanted to raise that for a second. That's all I wanted to do.
Well, I mean, he's still, he's still working, and he was just joining from the floor, if you would, like, just because of the circumstance. Like, they probably, unbeknownst to them, that they were going to be doing it that close, just like what Hextad said is just perfect timing.
I guess I just found it funny. Go ahead and continue on there.
I do see where you're going with that, though, for sure. Let me see. I'm just trying to figure out where I put it. Before the U.S. capture of Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro, French President Emmanuel Macron had expressed optimism about the latest gathering of what has been dubbed the coalition. Here we go. Of the willing. They have been exploring for months how to deter any future Russian aggression. Read that on December 31st address. Macron said the allies would make concrete commitments at the meeting to protect Ukraine and ensure a just and lasting peace. Macron's office said unprecedented number of officials will attend in person, with 35 participants, including 27 heads, a lot of blowies, of state and government. U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff and Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, met with Macron at the LC Presidential Palace for preparatory talks ahead of the gathering. Moscow has revealed few details of its stance on the U.S.-led peace negotiations. Officials have reaffirmed Russia's demands and have insisted there can be no ceasefire until a comprehensive settlement is agreed. Well, yeah, that's a ceasefire is a peace deal. The Kremlin has ruled out any deployment of troops from NATO countries on. The Kremlin has ruled out any deployment of troops from NATO countries on Ukrainian soil. The series of meetings on the summit's sidelines illustrated the intensity of the diplomatic effort and complexity of its moving parts. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky met with Macron ahead of the summit. French, British, and Ukrainian military chiefs also met with NATO's top commander, U.S. General Alexis G. I don't know how to say that last name. Participating in talks that France's army chief said focus on implementing security guarantees. Army chiefs from other coalition nations joined by video. A news conference including Zelensky, Macron, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz was planned later in the day. Okay, so then scroll down. This is going into tensions rise. So it's basically we were just talking. They were just talking and kind of seeing what's going on. So I feel like I've read this same story multiple times over the past couple of years. Like everyone's gonna get together, and then they're gonna talk, and then they're like, "Oh, hey, don't do this, or we're gonna keep attacking." But I'm not saying we're not attacking. But if you do this thing, it's like, "Oh, all of us, we do not want to get into the war." It's like, "Oh, we cannot do this." Like everyone just says it's the same story. That's what this is. I've read this story like 17 times.
I mean, this Ukraine is probably the worst mess that Trump has had to inherit. I mean, he right after in the press conference when they were taking questions about right after they took Maduro in, he was asked some question and he said that the Ukrainian Russia thing is not as easy as he originally thought.
Yeah.
He admitted that. And there was no follow-up to it because he's been out there. He said there while he was campaigning for presidency, if he was president, it'd be done overnight. But I think that can got kicked too far down the road and he didn't even realize it at that point. Kind of like how the swamp was a little too deep for him to deal with on the first round. So if you notice now, so now what we have is kind of a stalemate in Ukraine with Russia. I think that's exactly what it is. It's a stalemate at the moment. I think Trump is just kind of leaving that to be whatever it turns out to be at this point. Europe screwed the pooch on that one. Between Biden and all of his dealings and Ukraine and the big guy stuff, all of those, that is such a big mess that Putin's just like, I'm not playing games with any of you. You kicked us out of the Western economy. You cut us loose. We're not playing your games. We're done. Period. No NATO troops, or we keep fighting.
I don't know you shit. And here's the thing.
He doesn't. And honestly, I agree with that. If that's how Putin's looking at it, I agree with that. I would do the same thing. I'm not saying I like the guy. I'm just saying I understand what he's doing.
Yeah. And then the exact reason the whole thing started, part of what was it, the Skrappjaw Accords? No, that's Avengers. What are the Accords?
I know what you're talking about. It was the Minsk agreement.
Yeah, and it was like Ukraine can't become a member of NATO, and they cannot have help from NATO, and just leave us the fuck alone. Pretty fucking solid. And then Ukraine kept being like boop, 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 for years.
Right. And that's not to say that Russia hasn't gone about taking, some land here and there. I mean, they did the thing with Georgia, and then they ended up taking Crimea at a certain point. But I'm not too sure up to date on the politics around those things. I just remember Georgia happened during Obama, and we're not talking about where the devil went.
Yeah. I'm not too sure. All that stuff just kind of like.
Right. So, but strategically in that area, for those that don't know what a globe looks like.
Holy shit, I haven't seen one of those in years.
I don't know if I can actually see it on here properly.
You can.
But
exactly where you think it is, but that's not there. It's like impossible.
In my head, I know where the things are, because that's Ukraine and Odessa, and then this does look like it's. I don't see Crimea in as far as like. I think it's still actually showing. Oh, it's still showing Crimea as part of Ukraine. This is a little bit older, but like Russia really wants that Black Sea. They really like having this little spot here. Or if you guys go look it up on the thing. I'm not prepared to use this, but this is going to come out eventually in some of my future stuff.
Thank you, Bill Nye, for our hands-on demonstration.
Hands-on demonstration. That's a little bit older of a globe, but we'll get there. No, Russia's just doing a lot of strategic things, trying to take places where they can move things through. They've been working with China on the Belt and Roads type stuff a little bit. They're trying to get lanes to where they can move supplies, to and from their allies in the Middle East, in the East, all of those kinds of things. So when you start understanding where things move to and fro, you start understanding better why Russia is doing what they're doing. And it's when you understand better what Trump's doing with Venezuela. The majority of all of the oil going out of Venezuela was going to China on the cheap. And now it's not. He literally just said, you guys don't get a good supply of oil anymore. It's not just a good supply, it's a great supply of oil.
There's something to be said about that though. And what I was thinking when I was watching him, when I was listening to him talk about this, is I don't know if anyone caught this, but what was it, like Taiwan and China or Singapore and China? What was it? And they're like,
Taiwan,
yeah, Taiwan is like, well, the oil, this is our hemisphere, this is the Western hemisphere,
Yeah.
And like, why is that? There's something to be said with the chips, with NVIDIA out over there.
There's some of that stuff too.
And that's on their side. That's right there.
In my earlier comment about Russia, they need, Brian was saying that they need control of the Black Sea for warm water ports, right? All of Russia's ports in the north, they freeze up in the wintertime. A lot of stuff can't move. It's very difficult to get things in and out, unless you got submarines. And even then, and
another one's lost, just disappeared underwater. Not even stealthy disappeared. It just sank, and it's a stealth submarine, and they don't know where it is.
Gone. Yeah. So yeah. Glenn Beck has a really good breakdown on Venezuela.
I didn't even think about that.
There's more of this article. Actually, goes into the tensions rising over Greenland. Let's keep on down through here.
Okay.
So some of this I already mentioned. He renewed his call for the U.S. to take control of Greenland. So let's see what he's got to say about what all that pot is being stirred there. You find your spot?
Yeah. So Trump on Sunday renewed his call for the U.S. to take control of Greenland, a strategic mineral-rich Arctic island. Yeah, it just makes sense. You don't have to be anyone can figure that. Sorry. The leaders of France, Germany, Italy, Poland, Spain, and the UK on Tuesday joined Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen, in defending Greenland's sovereignty in the wake of Trump's comments about the self-governing territory of the Kingdom of Denmark. The continent also needs U.S. military might to back up Ukrainian security guarantees to our fortress territorial ambitions. That could require a delicate diplomatic balancing act in Paris. Participants are seeking concrete outcomes on 5 key priorities once fighting ends. Ways to monitor ceasefire, support for Ukraine's armed forces, deployment of a multinational force on land, at sea, and in the air, commitments in case of more Russian aggression, and the long-term defense cooperation with Ukraine. But whether that's still achievable Tuesday isn't so clear now, after this military operation targeting Maduro in Venezuela. Ukraine seeks firm guarantees from Washington of military and other support seen. Why do we have to fucking help them? Similar commitments in other allies. Kiev has been wary of any ceasefire that could provide time for Russia to regroup and attack again. I know why we have to help them, but it's just shit, man. I have a little brother that keeps getting beat up and paying for his medical bills. Stop him. Woodcock had indicated progress in talks about protecting and reassuring Ukraine. In a December 31st post, he said productive discussions with him, Rubio, and Kushner on the U.S. side and on other national security advisors of Britain, France, Germany, and Ukraine have focused on strengthening security guarantees and developing effective deconfliction mechanisms to help end the war and ensure it does not restart. France, which with the UK has coordinated the multinational effort to shore up possible peace plan, has given only broad brush details of its scope. It says Ukraine's first line of defense against the Russian reassumption of war would be the Ukrainian military, and that the coalition intends to strengthen. Yeah, it's just saying the same thing over and over, different ways.
So basically, when we look at, let's Brian, can you bring my screen that I just shared down there? I'll let you push the buttons, switch me around. I got Google Earth up. If we can do that. There we go. So there we are. We have United States. I can reset this to north. I could reset. There we go. So there we are. There's the states. Let's see if I can get some borders in here. Map. There we go. That's kind of lame. Let's go back. Anyway, wasting time. Satellite looks prettier. Anyway, nice planet. Now, Greenland is right here. This is Greenland. And this is the Arctic Circle up here somehow. I don't have all the latitude, longitude lines. I haven't used Google Earth in a while.
Greenland's bigger than the States.
It's not, though.
It is.
It is not bigger than the States. It's really not.
If you put it on like one of those things where it equals out, like those things, it is.
Scrap, can you rotate that globe back to Greenland? Rotate the globe back to Greenland.
Yeah.
Now go directly east. That peninsula.
Right there.
That's where Russia stores their ICBMs.
That's exactly what I was getting to.
That's where their silos are.
This is right where they are. So
thank you. I just jumped up to point that out. Sorry. Yes. I apologize for overstepping.
We were getting there. And so if I can just show, there's a point. I'm going to put a point here. I'm going to put this other point right here. That is 1,600 kilometers. Can we put this in freedom units? How many miles is this?
That's not that much.
That's 1,000 miles from Greenland to Russia, coast to coast.
That is the distance from Orlando to Long Island.
Exactly. That's the distance of the East Coast. Long Island is here, I believe.
Yeah, that is.
Let me see if I can get back to putting a point on here. Can I do it again? Yes. Long Island. To where? Which town was it? Let's go with the Keys. Let's just go to the Keys. Yeah, 1,100 miles. That's literally. That's the same distance. It's from here to here to here to here. That's if you drive straight down the coast, on the main highways, that's like a day to drive. A day's drive. Whoops, I'm getting all kinds of goofy. Reset. There we go. It's a day's drive from here to here. It's not land. It's not the North Pole. There's no Santa workshop up here. Sorry, kids. It's a big ocean with a gap between us and Russia. That's literally Russia right through here.
There's a definitely.
Actually, I think this is actually like Norway and Sweden, but still, it's like not far. There's a little guy right here, I believe. In this area that is its own little outcropping that Russia, and this is Russia over here. We know this is Russia, so that's
it's
not
a weird
far.
perspective to see it top down.
I know, like people normally use it, see it like that. Like there's Africa, and here's Europe and Spain, and Iran, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia are all up in here, and Egypt. It's nice being able to look at a map and know what you're seeing without all the labels. Don't thank public schools for that. But this is literally all Russia. This is the North Pole. All of that is Russia. And then like Alaska and Canada. So that's why Greenland is important. Now we're not going to go up there and march boots all across it and say, this is ours now. We're going to just go. Trump's going to be like, what do you want? Let's buy it. Let's make it a mutual thing. Let's make this. Right.
That purchase has been in talks since like Eisenhower.
It would be the largest land acquisition since the Louisiana Purchase.
Yep.
If
Yeah,
we
it's
did
been
it.
talked about for like
And
70
just they don't have to be a state. They could be a territory. You know, they could be like Puerto Ricans of the ice.
Yeah, just they can't play the lottery. No lottery fund. Because then they would win every time.
Right.
Like that.
So yeah, that's kind of the status of the things over there. Ukraine is a stalemate currently. Things are kind of sketchy. Trump is making moves on BRICS right now with taking Venezuela, and people aren't seeing that in the big picture. Most people are just like, "Oh no, regime change," and it's like, okay, if my neighbor was if one of my neighbors was giving the guy across town that was threatening to blow up my business explosives, I'm taking them from the guy next door. Like, it's that easy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not doing this. Oh, you know. It's probably better. There's probably a better analogy for that. I just threw it out there.
I know what you're talking about, though.
Oh, so lots of infighting, lots of chaos within geopolitics right now. Trump decided he was going to play a card no one thought he had the balls to play. The game is going into uncharted territory.
I don't blame him.
I voted for it.
Hell yeah.
Let's go. About time somebody goes on and does something. All right. Package containing homemade explosives. Speaking of explosives, I didn't even realize this was the next one. Good segue. All right. Containing homemade explosive substance discovered near Arizona State Capitol. Officials say. Yikes. Package that officials said contained 2 vials of homemade explosive substance was discovered near the Arizona State Capitol in downtown Phoenix on Monday. That's spooky. I have family that are in Arizona. So anyway, Arizona State Department of Safety said multiple buildings were evacuated on Capitol Mall, including state court buildings, which houses the Arizona Supreme Court and the Court of Appeals. I wonder what could be going on down there right now. The state court building remains closed, and additional sweeps are taking place, they said. And once that process has been completed, the package will be removed for further investigation and subsequent disposal. What's happening in Arizona? I wonder what the recent politics in Arizona are about. Like, what do we have anything?
Do you think it could be like with
on the court proceedings?
Terry, what's her face?
I don't know.
Because remember, what's it called when they was it last year or the year before that Carrie Lake or Carrie what's her face, like everyone that voted at like a Republican station or everything that was in addition to Republican like all failed, and then it was like some huge fraud ballot shit.
Yeah, they've been going on about that stuff in Pima. I think it's Pima County.
Something.
Maybe I forget. I know Yuma is one of the counties too, down there. I can't remember. It's funny we're talking about this stuff on January 6th right now. Happy anniversary of Insurrection Day.
Happy Patriot Day.
Happy Patriot Day. That's a little troll. It's called trolling. We do a little trolling.
Wow.
There's the political violence is so unpredictable in our country right now because since the left isn't able to really mount up a lot of effective protest anywhere, people are onto them. We're tired of it. The best they can do is boomers and elder Gen Xers, and they can maybe rally up a handful of union-backed bosses and things. Like the No King stuff is lame, absolutely lame. Like, what are you doing? Now, I'm grateful that it was lame this year when I went to DC and saw some of that. but you know, they're not able to do this. So the political violence is changing. Like there's pockets of like radicalism that are just people are being egged on. The pressure is being put on them in ways that is unnecessary. I think it's a lot of online people just in a vacuum in an echo chamber.
Yeah.
The Trump derangement syndrome is just beyond the pale at this point, and it's just like it's not if, it's when. When's the next person gonna go kill their parents and stab them? Like that happened literally not far from me.
Yeah.
That some guy, he tried to escape to Canada, murdered his parents, and it was believed that it was politically motivated. Like
Is
it's that
stole his
level
money
now.
or something? Like they stole his parents' money and his gun or something?
Let me pull the article and at some point here, but unless we have time, are on.
But that's the thing. Like
we're at 10 o'clock right now. I don't know if we're limited. We can do, or we need to move on to things. But that's just kind of, I want to throw that out there. There's a lot of these things happening on local levels at this point where it's like you just never know who's going to be politically motivated against who.
Yeah. Roll with it, Scrap.
Want me roll with it? Okay, let's roll with that. I'm gonna pull this one up. Because this is, I mean...
Because one thing that's kind of scary, though, is, like, you'll have these people, like, you know, you'll see these old people, you know, they don't know any better, you know, than no King's protests. And then you'll see, like, these like, ARF-tards, like, the Rangers, like, you know, they'll go on there on TV, but they're such a small thing. But then you have these people, like you were saying, that live in, like, you know, I don't live out in, like, country in small towns or anything, like, rural area, but you do have these people, and they live in this internet echo chamber where it's just like the same thought process, negativity, and you see these people and that's where they go. They forget like what reality is, and they just think that's what everything is. This is how real life actually is. I have to be the one to save everyone else from it. But it's like, no, they're just living in this little realm while everyone else is just like whatever. But then everyone else gets affected by like this mental health disorder that these people have brought onto themselves.
Trying to see if this article has some motive attributed in here, because I don't want to be completely out there and say this was exactly that if I don't have it. But I've been seeing some weird stuff locally. Guys, got to pay attention to your local Facebook groups. Just saying. So he stole he stabbed him, stole firearms, and let's see. And he also pled not guilty, so there's going to be more stuff for it.
Yeah, I remember hearing about this. This was a while ago, right?
Yeah, one of the guy's parents was connected to the original judge in this case, and the judge recused himself because they were like personal friends.
Wow.
I don't know.
I mean, good on the judge to like accept that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of judges were like, "Oh no, fuck this guy." But he's personal friends. He's personal friends with the boy. He's personal friends with the parent. You know.
I'm gonna have to get a look into this one a little more, because there was at least one politically motivated on family, that thing that happened in the last month or two that came up, and that's the things you gotta watch for, like as the political climate gets to the point where like it's obvious that the left is unable to like push in the ways they have been. They just go to the next level. We've already seen it. We've said, well, it was just one guy. It's like, no, it's been one guy in the hottest parts of the political stuff when especially during COVID and the riots and things, like it wasn't just one guy, and it hasn't stopped. Like it's like, when's the next one? When's the next shooter gonna come out and do something at a school? And you just don't know.
You don't know.
You just don't know in this climate.
It wouldn't be a thought.
It's not something that we want. It's something that we're just like, we're getting to the point where We didn't know. It's sad to say that this is the new normal. Let's invoke a little bit of that terminology they tried to gaslight us with and over COVID. It's just this for now. This is kind of the thing. You have to be. Everybody's on edge. People are making people like Tim Pool. There's talk out there with him about and he's in Florida right now for reasons. His stuff is changing up.
Yeah, you got Virginia.
Yeah, like there we had to the last thing we went to was during the No Kings. We were going to go to his Culture War event. It got canceled, but we still went and we covered the No Kings protest. So we don't know what this climate looks like. It's unpredictable. It's very unpredictable, and that's why I'm sitting here looking at this courthouse thing, like pipe bombs at a courthouse, DIY explosives, people that are being charged with aggravated murder in local jurisdictions for seemingly nothing, like, and to some degree, like there's weird stuff. And I know people around here that I don't think would, if they got to a certain point, I don't think they would think twice about going and finding other people that they disagree with politically, having some fantasy derangement of what that person is, and go, well, I have to go kill this guy that has a 9-to-5 and a family because he votes the wrong way. We're looking at that right now,
Too many people that are like that.
And it's like, I'm not that guy. I'm too busy going to my 9-to-5. I'm too busy spending time in the woods. Too busy trying to go raise that family. It's like, if those people would put half as much effort into trying to achieve those things themselves instead of complaining about why they don't have them and going and attacking people who have figured out how to get it, they might actually achieve a portion of that in their lives.
That therein lies the woe is me issue.
And the right wing is not immune to that either. There's the woke right out here that's trying to find certain people groups. They're starting to adopt the racism and the anti-Semitism and try to blame some other group for their lack of achievement. And it's like, okay, we were here for this long, and they're the ones that are like saying, oh, Trump isn't delivering. It's like, well, it's not like it's overnight. He's not just going to hand you a house and a wife. You're going to have to go be a person in the world.
You got to go be, yeah.
It's
go do something.
It's wild. It's wild how we're seeing now. The left has been so crazy, and then Trump takes office, actually is wielding the authority he has in the ways that he deems are, good for, a world leader. We've had a weak leader for how long? I voted for that. And he's trying to deal with the big stuff. It's like, we're going to have to deal with some of this fallout. Early on, I said, Trump is not going to fix it. He's not the silver bullet. The economy is still going to suffer for a while. We're going to see housing stuff. We're going to see all kinds of things. And it's going to take a while to fix. And the biggest thing it's going to take a while to fix is the job markets and the economy. And it's going to take having babies and going and actually doing the traditional values that people are complaining about, the left rejecting and fighting against. That's your only option. You have to lean into that. If you're too poor to have children anyway, because who's going to take care of your sorry butt when you're too old to do it yourself?
Have children anyway.
Really? Like,
that's funny.
While there's, if you're someone who thinks that there are people abusing a system, and there's a system out there that can help you take care of children you're too poor to take care of, and you actually want to take care of them, use it for a time, and then get off of that system. I did it. My family did it early on when we didn't have the money to pay for milk and peanut butter and stuff. And then one day we realized, damn, we have stacks of peanut butter sitting here we can't even eat. Maybe we don't need this welfare anymore. Maybe we don't need WIC. And we just let it lapse. We didn't go re-up for it or nothing. And that's what you got to do. If there's a system that is handing out free money and people are abusing it and you're too poor, use it for a time. Use it temporarily. I'm not faulting people for using it when they need it. I'm faulting people for abusing it and or not using the opportunities they have at the moment in order to get themselves over the hump. Get yourself over the hump. Get over yourself. There's my scrap rant about that. If you're too busy dealing with your personal life, you're too busy to go do political violence. Quit feeling sorry for yourselves. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Need a glass of water?
I think I do. Maybe you can talk about the next one.
I'll read the next one while you're doing that. That's good though. I preach. Nothing shameful about. Oh, it's my favorite thing. It's my favorite thing.
Chose this just for you, Tay.
I knew it when I read it. I was like, oh, he misses me. God damn it. It is. There's no way it goes this way, this way, this way, this way, like a pinball across our fucking shit for like weeks and months. And it's not something else. Space fans hoping that the intruder from beyond the solar system, known as Comet 3i Alice, is actually an alien spacecraft. May be disappointed by new research. Fuck these people. They're fucking wrong. We all know they are. Space fans hoping that the intruder from beyond the solar system, known as Comet 3i Alice, is actually an alien spacecraft. May be disappointed by the new research that could close the book on this speculation once and for all. Nah, suck my dick. Astronomers used the Green Bank telescope employed in the breakthrough Listen Extraterrestrial Signal Hunting Astronomy Project. Holy fuck, that is a sentence. To search 3i Alice for measurable signs of technology from extraterrestrial civilizations or technosignatures. How can you measurable signature technology of other civilizations if you've never seen them? Again, they're just trying to keep us down. The man is keeping us down. Though this hunt came up empty, of course, the fact that 3i Alice is only the third known object found in the solar system after entering from interstellar space, the others being 1i Oumuamua, seen in 2017, and 2i Borisov, detected in 2019, which means that it's still an object of great fascination, albeit a natural one. We could have been thrilled to find technosignatures coming. We did. That literally said we're coming back with 3i Atlas, but they're just not there. Led researcher Benjamin Jacobson Bell from University of California. Trust Benjamin. Berkeley told Space.com, finding no signals was the result we expected due to the significant evidence of 3i Atlas being a comet with only natural features. These guys are buzzkills. The evidence was against 3i Atlas, meaning one such probe, but we have been remiss not to check. Jacobson Bell explained that scientists have even discussed conducting this exact kind of exploration using probes of our own. An example of this is the Breakthrough Starshot initiative, a concept that proposes to launch thousands of extremely lightweight probes toward Alpha Centauri, the nearest star in our solar system. So then we're going to make our own? These people pissing me off, man. There are compelling reasons to think a spacefaring species would send probes to another star system as a way to learn more about their stellar neighborhood. Yeah. They're saying no. I say yes. The team behind this research theorized that when we find the brightest extraterrestrial technosignatures are likely to be narrow band. See, they don't even know what they're looking for. Fuck these people. This is totally an alien product. That's what I'm sticking with. What's the name
I don't
of
know. What are we talking about? Say
What's the
again?
name of that? What is the name of Omegresh, or that really old king from like Iraq? That's like oldest ancient history.
Nimrod?
Gilgamesh or something.
Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh, and he was like half of like these other people that were like giants, but they were aliens, and then that's why our DNA is altered and we come from them.
Oh, you're talking about like Zechariah Sitchin, Anunnaki,
Anunnaki, yeah.
yeah, kind of stuff. The
It's an Anunnaki probe.
Sumerian ancient aliens.
Damn straight.
I've seen all that. I've seen all that stuff. Gilgamesh is Gilgamesh is believed some believe that he's actually written that epic is written about Nimrod, who was the king during the Babylon or during Babel when the Tower of Babel. He's described in the descriptions are like dang near 1-to-1 about who they were. So,
Nope, don't believe it. I think it's real. That's what I'm sticking to. Fuck Benjamin, stupid last name Bell.
I don't know anything about this Atlas I3 blah blah thing. It's one of those things where where people instantly wanted to go, oh, this is alien technology, it's doing all this weird stuff, instead of going, hey, let's just put the information out there and let people make up their own decision. I was like, I just don't get into alien stuff anymore. I'm not into UFOs.
I don't even think it's alien. I just think it's ancient tech.
I think
I guess technically it would be alien. Like, I'm not thinking of like, like, ooh,
what if it's a rock that has something in the middle of it, like a giant magnet that's just flying through space, and it's like, bobbing and weaving off of the magnetic fields of all the other things in space. Oh, wait, like everything else in space.
No.
Like,
nope. Nope.
Oh, I messed up my title tonight. It should have been El Preserante. Instead of El Rante, it should have been El Preserante.
I like that one. That one's good.
I'm gonna change it now anyway. I'm gonna use it El Preserante. That's what. There we go. I'm gonna use that this weekend when we do this Roman Nation podcast.
I like that one.
Rocks. Back in my day, we liked it. We had rocks and we liked it. Want
to go straight to well, not straight, we're pretty much done it.
Yes.
Yes.
Caption this. Caption D's. Okay.
Why does that girl look familiar?
This is a very Germanic scene, judging from the architecture. She's got her head covered, as is tradition for old world women of modesty and having being, or being married and things of that nature. But she's got an eyebrow piercing and purple hair. And the men...
Why does she look familiar?
Don't know why she looks familiar. I'm confused. What is this? What are we captioning? How are we captioning this? I am captivated by the lack of knowledge in my brain. I mean, there's a well back there. Let's see. Where is chat? I need to find... I'm going to look at the chat myself. Off to the slide. I can see the chats myself. Not top chat, live chat. I want to see it all. Oh, we got Funk Master, 5 Rise of Middle America gift memberships. People are grabbing them. Dude, we've got a bunch of people in here on this on it. Let's see. We only have 2 people watching now, but we had a handful of people just grabbing memberships. It's dope.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I got nothing on this one. This is like an old painting.
Sentient space rock. All right. Why is my chat not keeping up? Oh, yeah, there it is. A photo of a Gen Zer before her hanging in 1612. Does she float? Is she's a witch?
Does she float?
I don't. I remember that scene. It's like the only scene I remember from that film.
Does she float?
Does she float? Don't hang.
She's a witch.
Witches can't. We don't hang witches because they could fly away. Is that what the whole gag was?
Well, ducks. Well, witches can fly, and so ducks can fly. So if a duck lives on water, what does that mean? If she floats, she is a witch. There's something like that. It's something wild. I'm just going off of like years since I've seen it.
She turned me into a newt. All the guys that were like a couple of years older than me knew the Monty Python stuff better than I when I was in high school.
You know, I feel like there's a lot of people like my age and underneath me that have never seen any of it. And if they did, they saw it like in their youth or like 2 or 3 years old. So they don't even know it. It's truly just, it's still a classic. It's fantastic.
We need some of all of the memes out there of Venezuela and Maduro. I was really expecting something we could get spicy with tonight.
Out of all the things and the things on the internet,
like so much has happened. No, it's fine. Let's but unfortunately for her, she weighs more than a duck. Oh. Yeah. Man.
I got nothing, honestly.
She has a very nice ombre though, and I'm not talking about. I'm not. This looks like a hair color my wife did. It's kind of odd seeing it. What's
guys,
up,
we got to close this out because I was unaware, but the drive-in is supposed to happen in about 7 minutes, so we need to finish this out.
Okay, well, this caption wasn't as captivating as some of them. Maybe we'll call Mulligan on this one. We'll do a rain check.
We'll bring it back on Thursday.
We'll bring it back on Thursday.
Updated. Right way.
Back because you're back on Thursday. How about this? I'll come in on Thursday. How's that? We'll do a redo of this. We'll bring it back on then, and we'll let the drive-in happen. Give you guys 7 minutes, 6 minutes maybe by the time I get done yakking here. I'm El Presidente, Skrappjaw everywhere. This has been a nice return. Happy New Year. And I'll leave it to Papa Tate. Take it home.
Appreciate you, bud. Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you for opening the season up with me. Guys, it was a pleasure. I know we as we do. Wouldn't be us if we didn't. We had some technical difficulties, but that's just how it goes. It's what we do. But oh man, I was itchy as nose hair. Sorry.
I need a little aftershave to help out with that.
Yeah, I gotta do something. But thank you. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a wild first week. Even since our last episode at the end of the year. Like crazy first week for us to open to. I really hope we're going to have fantastic things to keep entertaining you with. You know, whatever the world has, we will cover it. Hopefully nothing too, sad or anything like that. But thank you for being here. You know, we'll be back on Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. So we'll see you then. And please be safe. And have a good night.
Be there, be square. Peace out.
So I got to thinking, there's MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. MAGA, Make America Great Again. But what we really need to do is make America follow the Constitution again. Motherfucker. That sounded better in my head.